لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله ما لنا رب سوى لا إله إلا الله.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in verse 83, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وإذ أخذنا ميثاق بني إسرائيل لا تعبدون إلا الله وبالوالدين إحسانا وذي القربى واليتامى والمساكين وقولوا للناس حسنا وأقيموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة ثم توليتم إلا قليلا منكم وأنتم معرضون. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as you know, has been talking about Bani Israel, but sometimes talking to them directly, addressing them, sometimes as third party. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that He has made a covenant with Bani Israel, and most of it is common. So it is a common covenant between Allah and other nations. One is that they should not worship anyone other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. La ta'buduna illa Allah. Perhaps because it's natural for human beings to worship, the focus is not on worshipping Allah. The focus is on worshipping only Allah, so that you don't worship others. Yeah. La ta'buduna illa Allah. It's not, for example, u'budullah. So the focus is la ta'buduna illa Allah. Don't worship anyone, any person, your scholars, your leaders, anyone except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Isn't it because of Bani Israel, because the degradation which placed upon Allah, maybe because of the audience of Bani Israel, says La ta'buduna illa Allah. Maybe it's not for any human being.
Yeah, but this is very common in many nations, even when it comes to the society before Islam in Mecca. Again, the same thing. The focus of the Quran is not on believing in God or worshipping God. The focus is on Tawheed, because for them was the same. For them also worshipping God was a very common idea. The only problem was worshipping idols and polytheism. Maybe in some part of the world, in some time, there can be a problem in worshipping God itself, in the worship itself. But most of the time, people had clear idea about worshipping. It was the problem of shirk or not knowing how to worship. لا تعبدون إلا الله وبالوالدين إحسانا. As you know, also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, another place in the Quran, brings the kindness to parents next to the worshipping. قضى ربك ألا تعبدوا إلا إياه وبالوالدين إحسانا. Here the same. He brings kindness to parents next to worshipping Him. Because in a sense, parents are also responsible for our existence. They are not our God, na'udhu billah, or our Lord, but somehow they are responsible, somehow they are involved in this process of receiving existence from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if we were supposed to have any respect, any love, any gratitude to someone other than God, the most obvious example would be our parents. And if someone is not grateful to his parents, it's very unlikely to be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah? So gratitude to parents is very important. وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. But it's not only for the parents. وَذِي الْقُرْبَى, and to the kinship, your relatives. Your relatives also, you should treat them in a good way, and you should be ready to give them. You know, I don't know whether you agree with me or not. I think ihsan is not a matter of reciprocation. It's not that I do something good to someone because I have received something good from him. Ihsan is to do good regardless. For example, when you say ihsan to orphans, yatama, does it mean that you must receive something from them and then you give them back? No. Maybe this orphan cannot do anything for me. Ihsan is that you are such a person that you love to help, you love to give. Whether they have done something for you like parents, or they have not done something good for you, like maybe some needy people, some masakin, some yatama, or some family members. Maybe you haven't received anything from them, but you have this loving nature. You want to give help, you want to support. So ihsan is not just a matter of reciprocation. Ihsan is more than that.
If somebody doesn't have this feeling, love for others,
Yeah.
but he fight his bad soul and pay attention to, for example, orphans or others,
Yeah.
is this good or not? Because
It's good, but it's not sufficient.
Because it's not his fault that it is not in his nature.
No, you can achieve. You can change your nature. You have to work on your emotions. You have to.
So being in this way is.
So the first step is to do what is good. But then the second step is to love doing what is good. So if someone says his prayer and doesn't love the prayer, this is not enough.
Because love is the matter of heart.
So you have to work on your heart. You can work your heart. Anything that Allah asks us, I think we should do it out of love, out of appreciation. If we just do it without liking it, it's not good for our grace and perfection. Maybe you will not be punished, but you will not make good progress. It's important to love.
Something that hadith says about that
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What was the reason for in the beginning of the verse for changing the khitab? Because Adam was explaining it every time that the khitab was changing. What was the reason for that? But he did explain here why the khitab directed to the third person, while it was Allah was talking.
Because this is general about Bani Israel, and this covenant was made before. Allah doesn't repeat the covenant every age.
So exactly in the story of Qawm, Allah said because they were unfamiliar with the story, Allah changed the khitab to that.
Yes.
But here they were familiar with the covenant.
Yeah, but with whom Allah made the covenant?
With their ancestors.
Yes.
But
But it's something which is going on in the later generations. But the covenant was actually made, for example, in time of Prophet Musa alayhi salam.
I think many places in the Quran, Allah directly talking
Yeah.
based on the.
It's just a matter of consideration. Sometimes you consider this point, sometimes you consider that point. So it's not that you must do this. For example, إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ, there is a point. But it's not that if Allah was saying, for example, نَعْبُدُهُ wahdahu or la na'budu illa iyyah was wrong. It's a matter of having a point so that you can understand some point. So, kindness to parents, it's a matter of gratitude. But Zil Ghurba, not necessarily. Although maybe someone says with family members we always get something from them and give back. But it's not necessary. Maybe you have a cousin, you have an uncle, he has not done anything for you, but you do something for him. But when it comes to yatama and masakin, it becomes very obvious that it's not a matter of reciprocation. You need to give to orphans to help them, even if they cannot do anything for you. Or masakin, the needy people. Who is yatim? It has been said that yatim, the orphan, is the one who has lost his father. Of course, if someone is adult, is for example 20 years old, 30 years old, normally they don't call him yatim. In some fiqh books, they say la yutma ba'da al-bulugh. So if you are 50 years old and your father dies, you don't become yatim. Yeah? I had a friend, when he wanted to get discount from taxi drivers or from shop, he was saying, my father is yatim, help me. So yatim is the one who is still a teenager or a child. And also Allama says, it has been said that in human beings, the yatim is normally the one who loses his father. In animals, yatim is the one who loses his mother, because the support comes from mother. Yeah? If you are an animal and you don't have father, you don't suffer that much. I don't know what has been your understanding. This is the way we understand. As a human being, when we look at animals, it seems that they need mostly their mother. Because animals mostly have physical needs, and physical needs can be met by mother. They need food, they need security. Mother is looking after them. They don't need, like human beings, discipline or experience of father or money from father or yeah. So for animals to lose mother is very difficult. For human beings to lose father is very difficult. But anyway, this is a matter of lugha. This is a matter of the way in Arabic yatim is used. Allah says, Al-yatim man mata ummuhu wa la yuqal liman matat ummuhu yatim. Perhaps unless there is an evidence. Maybe in a sentence you find that yatim is used for someone whose mother is lost, but there is evidence. In general, he says this is like this. So if someone has done nazr to give some money to yatim, to be cautious, he should give it to the people who don't have father, and they are child or, for example, teenager, not after bulugh. So religiously, they are not yet mature. Wal masakin. What is the meaning of miskin? Do you know why they call miskin miskin? Miskin means needy.
Was no food for
Pardon?
day. Was no food for his day.
No, why they call him miskin? It comes from sukun.
It is can't move.
Miskin perhaps is called miskin because he is so poor that he has no ability to move. He has no opportunity for doing anything. His poverty has made him unable to do anything. He is motionless. This is the problem with poverty. The same is with a society. If a society is a poor society, they cannot do anything. They have no impact. If an institute is poor, they cannot do anything. Yeah? They all stay, motionless. But if they can travel, go to different parts of the world, so this is good that they are not miskin. And faqir perhaps is the one whose back is broken. His spinal cord is broken. Yeah?
Because of what?
Because of poverty. So both are the same, means poor, needy, and sometimes they can be used interchangeably. Sometimes miskin means faqir, faqir means miskin. But the emphasis in miskin is on not being able to move, and the emphasis on faqir is perhaps that his back is broken, which again you cannot move. If your back is broken, you cannot move. Yeah? Yes.
I remember some scholars mentioned the difference between faqir and miskin.
Yeah.
They said the faqir has a better situation than miskin.
But even those who make distinction, they say إذا اجتمعا افترقا وإذا افترقا اجتمعا. They can be used. So if we say miskin and faqir, so perhaps they mean different things. But if we say miskin, it can include faqir, or we say faqir can include miskin.
You say miskin is worse than faqir.
Yeah. Normally.
So for example, if we have in two different verses the word faqir and the word miskin,
Yeah.
does it mean the same meaning, or maybe there's the differentiation between these two?
Islamically, I think any person who is needy, you have to help him. You cannot say, no, you are not in the level of miskin, you are only faqir. Even faqir, Islamically, even amma sa'ilah fala tanhar. Even the one who asks, sa'il is the one who is needy and asks for help. Maybe his need is not that much, but he asks for help. You should give him something. Yeah, you cannot say that I wait till you reach very high level of poverty, then I help you. Indeed, sometimes, maybe when someone who is starting to become poor, if you help him, you can save him. Yeah, but if you wait till he becomes very poor and he loses everything, then it's very difficult.
From the scholar, for example, giving money to the ones who ask. Maybe it causes a culture of takaddi somehow.
Yeah.
And maybe they recommend us to not do that. What's your opinion?
We have to be careful about two things. One is that we don't make a culture of begging, but at the same time we should be very careful not to leave anyone in need because we are worried. So this person might be really in need, he has nothing to feed his family. I cannot say I don't help you because I am worried that it becomes a culture. Yeah. So you have to find balance. And this is why I think that we should act as a society. So if we are 1,000 people or 10,000 or 1 million people, for example, we are the people of Qom. I think Islamically in our town we should have an institute for combating poverty. And that institute takes money from all people and spends on poor people. Instead of me investigating, you investigating, sometimes we give to a person who is not needy, or two of us give to one person and another person doesn't receive anything. We all give all money to this. I think in every Muslim town, they must aim at removing poverty. We should not have any poor family in our town, at least at the level of basic. This is not less important than making roads. Yeah, it's very important. How can we be Muslims and in our town there are poor families? This is the problem. Allama Tabatabai says that here there is a kind of order. First, parents. The people who deserve greatest help are the parents. Then the kinship. If your family member needs money and a person who is not related to you needs money, you should give priority to your family members. Not because you are selfish, but because every person has to make sure that no one in his family is in need. Because if everyone starts with his family members, it's better. Why? Because I know my family members better. And maybe I know their need and no one else knows. So if I don't help my family members, maybe others never realize that he is in need. Okay? And it is part of also a requirement of Salih Rahim. So there are two responsibilities. One is Salih Rahim, one is helping the poor people. After that, it comes to orphans. Orphans are more important than masakin. Yeah? Because masakin, at least they have grown up. They don't need anyone like father. But this orphan needs a guardian. So yatama are more important than masakin. So there is a kind of hierarchy, because there's order. Walidain, wal qurba, wal yatama, wal masakin. And then Allah says, وَقُولُوا لِلنَّاسِ حُسْنًا. Even to the people who are not needy, and you don't need to do ihsan to them, at least you should say good words to them. So this is the minimum level of ihsan. وَقُولُوا لِلنَّاسِ حُسْنًا. I cannot say do ihsan to everyone, because many people don't need ihsan as charity. But everyone needs good words. Ihsan in this sense, yeah? Even if someone is very rich and he has lots of children and workers, he is in need of listening good words. So there is a kind of poverty in human beings for being treated with respect. Unfortunately, something that we find in many countries is that people are not given respectful treatment. Sometimes you don't need money, you need respect. I go to a shop or to an office or sometimes to a bank. I don't need them to give me money. I have millions of money, okay? I need someone to respect me. But unfortunately, sometimes you don't receive this respect. Sometimes you have to ask for apologies. Sorry I have come here, I have made trouble for you. He is receiving salary to serve me. But when I go there, I feel, I have been troubled. Even if he's a shopkeeper, sometimes, they treat you as if you are a troublemaker. They want, to get rid of you. This is a very bad thing. This is very un-Islamic. Islamically, if you cannot give money to people, or they don't need money, at least you should smile, you should be respectful. وَقُولُوا لِلنَّاسِ حُسْنًا. Even to kuffar, nas is not only Muslims. قُولُوا لِلنَّاسِ. Everyone, you should speak nicely. And this is very important. If you go to your children's school, yeah, maybe it's a private school, you are giving them money, but sometimes you receive respect, sometimes you don't receive respect. This respect is very important. Many people can tolerate poverty, but they cannot tolerate being insulted or humiliated. And unfortunately, sometimes we don't take these points. So sometimes there have been people who have lived as asylum seekers, refugees, for many years. But because they have not been treated well, now after many years, they have problem. When they go back to their country, they don't have good memories. Although you have spent lots of money on each refugee, but money is something, respect is something else. If I have a person who is in need and I give him money but without respect, I give him money but I use bad words about him, or look at him in a lower way, or na'udhu billah, I throw food at him, this is not Islamic. Respect is very important. وَقُولُوا لَلنَّاسِ حُسْنًا. Okay, even if you want to, for example, you are a judge and a person is found guilty, sentenced to death or punishment, and you have to be respectful to him. You have to say, according to the evidence that we have, you are found to be guilty and you should be killed, please. Honestly, it has to be like this. You cannot say because he's going to be killed, so now everyone can swear at him, everyone can say bad words to him or his parents. No, he has to be respected with nice dress, nice food, nice room in the prison. Everything must be with respect. If it is Islamic. If it's not Islamic, then you can do whatever you like. That's different. No, first of all, kafir, as we have said many times, kafir is not every non-Muslim. Allah said, you remember, kafir is the one who fights the truth deliberately. So in the whole world, I don't know how many kafir exist. And secondly, shidda doesn't mean to lose your principles. For example, shidda doesn't mean to tell lies, to accuse people falsely. Because this is Abu Lahab, I can tell lies about him. I can say, na'udhu billah, you are not legitimate. No. Shidda is different from respect, from akhlaq, from adab. I don't think in Islam there is any limit or exception for adab, politeness.
We can't accept the meaning of kufar is someone who is attacking us, who's against us exactly.
Yes.
Who said that? Kafir is kafir.
No.
Who doesn't believe in Allah, or who believes in Allah.
We had this before.
Uniqueness or unity of Allah.
We had 4 different types of kufr.
We were not in the class.
Maybe you were not in that class.
No.
4 types of kufr, and Allah says in the Quran, normally kufr used in the sense of kufr al-juhud. So in the Quran, for example, Ahlul Kitab are not considered as kafir.
Yes, sure. Someone like these likes and or now as like people.
No.
They're not kafir?
No. Kafir in most of the cases is the one who denies, kufr al-juhud. He denies the truth deliberately.
In which group we can enter the Islamic, terminology?
So it's a group of like atheists who fight the truth deliberately, not those who are still not sure.
No, I mean in Quranic actually.
This is Quranic. This is Quranic. Allah says this. You can find it in. I think we had it.
Last year, I think we had a discussion.
Yeah.
You were absent.
And there was a hadith from Imam Sadiq. Yeah. Verse 7. Under verse 7, Allah says, and then he says, فَالْأَشْبَهُ أن يكون المراد من الذين كفروا ها هنا وفي سائر الموارد من كلامه تعالى كفار مكة في أول البعثة إلا أن تقوم قرينة على خلافه. So unless we have a strong evidence to suggest otherwise, kafir means Abu Lahab and Abu Jahl. Not that every non-Muslim is kafir.
They were trying
So this is about the meaning of kafir. Ashiddau ala al-kuffar doesn't mean if you have a Christian or Jewish or Zoroastrian neighbor, you are shadid with them. No. Second, even with respect to kuffar, shadid doesn't mean to be impolite, to tell lies about them, to insult them, to annoy their children, because I want to be shadid with kuffar. So every day I see his child, I slap. This is not the meaning of shadid. This is not Islam.
In this case, for example, suppose that lots of people, or some people, they don't believe. Suppose that someone doesn't believe in Allah, so he's not mu'min and believer, and he's not mushrik, he's not kafir, he's not hypocrite and munafiq. So how we call him in Islamic terminology? Who is he?
He is kafir in a theological sense. In kalam, you can call any non-Muslim kafir. But in the Quran doesn't talk that much about these people.
So how we can deal with these people? They're not.
No, we don't use the term of kafaru for these people. These are the people who don't have iman.
Non-believer, it's better.
Maybe Rahama Bainahum includes them also. Can we say, for example, in our country we have many Ahlul Kitab, maybe Rahama Bainahum also includes them. Can we say that?
Maybe not from Bainahum, but we have many things that Allah says, لا ينهاكم الله عن الذين لم يقاتلوكم في الدين ولم يخرجوكم من أن تبروهم وتقسطوا إليهم. We don't have any problem. And ihsan is for everyone. قولوا للناس حسنا. I think our problem is that this is a very important thing. Very important. I think our problem is that we don't try to achieve a character like the character of the Prophet and then understand the things. If you try to become like the Prophet in his character, if you try to be like إنك لعلى خلق عظيم رحمة للعالمين فبما رحمة من الله لنت لهم, then you would understand many details. But if you want to have a legal or literal approach, then you become confused. Therefore, then you act according to your own character and give it the name of Islam. If you are a harsh person, you come up with a harsh interpretation of Islam. And you say, this is Islam. Your Islam is not real Islam. My Islam is real Islam. Why? Because I'm always fighting. No, it's not Islam. It's your own character which is projected to Islam. We need to have people like Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We cannot become like him, but we should follow him. I cannot think of Rasulullah annoying people who have no faith. I cannot think of Imam Sadiq alayhi salam being not respectful. So I try to understand everything in the light of this.
What's the criteria? I mean, in Quranic perspective, what's the criteria?
لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ.
Yes, but
Okay, so follow the example of Rasulullah. Why you don't follow the example? Did Rasulullah mistreat even the people who were putting rubbish on him? In Medina, he was able to kill them. Yeah, he was not weak. Did he pay some money to some gangsters, go and kill this person? This was the habit of Rasulullah. Didn't he forgive Wahshi? Didn't he say al-yawm yawmul marhama?
You know,
Although he knew that some of these people in future are going to kill his children. But he said, اذهبوا وأنتم الطلقاء.
sorry, but for example, Imam Ali forgave.
But the problem is that these things normally in our fiqh are not studied. We say there is no authentic, chain of narration. So we question everything. We question Nahjul Balagha, everything, and we say because they don't meet the standards of fiqh. But these are more obvious than any single khabar wahid that you are using in fiqh.
You know, for example, Imam Ali, after the Battle of Jama, for example, he forgave Aisha.
Yeah.
And for example, Marwan and the Zubayr, Imam Ali let them out and make them free. But lawfully and according to our jurisprudence and justice, you were confused why Imam Ali did that.
So we should follow the example of Imam Ali, and our fiqh must help us to understand the way our imams behaved. Fiqh should not become independent. Fiqh is not something next to Kitab and Sunnah. And I am sure many people in our fiqh, alhamdulillah, we have very good jurists and they understand these things. But some people, I think, unfortunately, they don't have very broad vision. And they project their own short-sightedness to Islam. And this creates problem. And this what we have today among extremists, these terrorists. Yeah? Many of them, maybe honestly, they think this is Islam. Some of them are not honest, but I think some of them are honest. They think this is Islam. They expect Allah is going to reward them because they have killed innocent people. But what is the problem? The problem is that there is no rahmah in their heart. There is no wisdom in their heart. They go after some text and some literal interpretation of Islam, and then they come up with this strange fatwas. You kill a Shia and then you go to heaven. Yeah? So we must be careful not to repeat the same. To say you kill a Sunni and then you go to heaven. By killing, you don't go to heaven. Yes, if there is a real case of jihad, and that must be approved by very high personalities, maybe in the whole world only 2-3 people can give opinion about this issue. Not that every imam in the mosque gives fatwa that go and kill people. And this is a problem in some schools of Islam. Mufti is very easy. Everyone becomes mufti because they don't have that criteria, that you should have level of knowledge and experience.
So at the end of the day, you say that Nas doesn't include kuffar, or the exception are kuffar.
No.
Ashaddu are kuffar.
No, I say ashadda doesn't mean that you don't speak nicely.
Host means
Host, ulul nas husna. You should speak nicely. Qula lahu qawlan layyina. Was Fir'aun kafir or not? Allah says qula lahu qawlan layyina. Yes.
Why we are interpreting the some words yatama and masakiniyat as giving charity and giving money? I think
Not only money, but must be giving.
for example,
Maybe you help them by giving advice. Maybe you help them in finding good husband or wife for them. Maybe you find a good school for them. But you have to do something. If you say, I love you, but I don't do anything for you. So this is not ihsan.
So for example, maybe sometimes they are not in need of money, they are in need of affection.
So you give them love, you give them support, you smile at them.
Exactly. So if that's the case, so there is no difference between losing the father or the mother. Sometimes the one who lost his mother is more in need of affection than was his father. So
Yes. And this is why I said this is a matter of word, language. Even if you say yatim is only used for the one who has lost his father, This is a matter of language. Otherwise, Islamically, we have to support every orphan, no matter whether he has lost father or mother, because at least he is miskin.
Certainly that in the language of Quran, we have to consider it.
We have to go back to dictionaries like Lisanul Arab and Tajul Arus. I didn't look for it, but Allama says very clearly, Al-yatim man mata abuhu, wa la yughal liman matat ummuhu yatim. But you can do research and maybe you find something like this. Allama then, before I go to the next ayah, I quote some hadith. One hadith is from Imam Baqir alayhi salam about قولوا للناس حسنا. Imam alayhi salam said, قولوا للناس أحسن ما تحبون أن يقال فيكم. How do you want people to speak about you or to you? If it is fikum, means about you. Yeah? If you love people to respect you, to say good words, kind words about you, you say the same about them. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, this was from Imam Baqir alayhi salam. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam said, قولوا للناس ولا تقولوا إلا خيرا حتى تعلموا ما هو. So don't go after suspicions and your guess and say bad things. Say good things. Yes, if there is a thing that is proved and you have to say, because sometimes you shouldn't say, you should keep it hidden. If your responsibility is to say that, then you say it. But as I say, you have to observe whether it's a case of disclosing this or not. Imam Baqir alayhi salam in another hadith said, قولوا للناس أحسن ما تحبون أن يقال لكم. That one was يقال فيكم, means about you. يقال لكم means to you. You understand?
Yes.
There's a difference between يقال فيكم and يقال لكم. So both of them. And look at this beautiful sentence. فإن الله عز وجل يبغض السباب اللعان الطعان على المؤمنين الفاحش المفحش السائل. Allah doesn't love person who swears at people, insults them, curses them, says bad things to mu'mineen. The one who is not careful about his face, about his reputation. The one who asks easily for money or help from people. A mu'min should not ask easily. Yeah, it's makruh to ask for money. It's mustahab to give money. Yeah, but to ask is makruh. Unfortunately, people easily go and borrow money. For what? He wants to buy an LCD, for example, big TV, he borrows money. This is not something for which you get a loan. Yes, if your child is ill, if you want to buy house, but if you have a good house, you want to make a big house, then you go and, up to here, you take loan. This is not good. So there are people that they have, 10, 20 different loans every month to pay. And many times it's not necessary. If it is necessary, it's okay. And if you also do like this, in future you can never give up. When you get used to this, I have seen people that they can never give up. So it's better to say to Allah that I don't want my risk to come through Qarzul Hasana. Please give it directly to me. And then you would see it works. But if you always say, no, I want this, so you will be given like that. Yuhibbul Hayy. The one who has Haya. Haya is very difficult to translate. Some people translate modesty. But maybe it's more than. Some people translate shame. Not in the bad sense. Shame in the good sense. So shame is sometimes used in the sense of Haya. He has no shame. It means he has no haya. Modesty. Hayi. So mu'min must be a person who is very modest, very respectful. Halim. Halim is the one who doesn't get angry easily. You know, Halim is the one who is able to tolerate bad behavior. Halim. Therefore, you can translate as forbearance. Afif, modest. Muta'affif, tries to keep his modesty.
What's the difference between Halim and Afif?
Ifa, I think, is more about certain issues, like sex or poverty. But haya is more general. So, for example, if someone in questioning is very bold, we cannot say he is not afif, but we can say he has no haya. He says all the jokes, you know, some dirty jokes. This is not good. A mu'min has to have haya. Some of the jokes are not good. Okay, now we go.
At the age of the tradition was the mu'minin, yes, but at the first.
No, just in the. At-ta'an al-mu'minin.
Al-mu'minin, but at the first was.
But the first is general. Sabab, la'an.
It was not about nos.
Yeah. No. قولوا للناس أحسن ما تحبون أن يقال لكم. Then Imam said فإن الله عز وجل. In general, Allah doesn't love people who are not respectful, who are not polite, who don't have adab, don't observe etiquettes. Once son-in-law of Ayatollah Beheshti, actually I heard more than once from him. He said that we went to the graveyard with Ayatollah Beheshti, in which, I don't know, Marx or Engels, I think Marx was buried. And he said, I said something bad about him because he has misguided many people. So I said something bad. And he said, Ayatollah Beheshti said, don't say these words. Even for someone like Marx, you must not say bad words. You have to have your adab, your etiquette. This is the son-in-law of Ayatollah Beheshti said.
What about the enemies of Ahlul Bayt?
Pardon?
What about the enemies of the Ahlul Bayt? Have you said the enemies of the
Lan is different from saying bad words. Sab is different from lan.
Is there anything
But
worse than
in some cases, lan can be also taken as sab. That's different. In the past, it was not like this. So if lan is said in front of someone who has love for them, or you know, he hears about this and he takes it as an insult, you shouldn't say it. Did you get the point? If you say lan to someone and takes it as a sab, you should not say it. Even Allah says, لا تسبوا الذين يدعون من دون الله. Even to Lat and Hubbal and Uzza, don't do sab. So you must not offend the people who love certain personalities by saying bad words about those beloved of them. And you know, recently Ayatollah Khamenei and some others also said this is haram to say any bad words about the figures of Muslims from other schools of Islam.
Sorry, how can we reconcile between the culture of La'an with
We don't have culture of land. This is wrong. Unfortunately, some people have culture of land. Land is part of a big culture, but some people make it as if Islam is only land.
No, I don't mean that.
I know you don't mean that, but some people really mean this. Some people, they say, if you have any important haja, do land. As if nothing has power except this. Land is very clearly defined in Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran himself uses this. But we have to be very careful, especially if you want to apply it to particular people. You have to be very careful not to do according to your own choice. In Qom, unfortunately, among ulama, I have seen people who do land of another Shia because they politically disagree. They say land to him. Is this right? Is it Islamic? Another Shia, you can disagree. Why you do land? So if you open the space, then it ends up with doing land of their brothers and sisters in faith. They do land of their neighbor. They do land of, husband and wife. It has no stop. But if you follow Islam, it's very clear. We only can do land specifically about the people that we have received guidance about them specifically. And even this must not be done in the way that offends other people. Because then they would do the same. So, لا تسبوا الذين يدعون من دون الله. It's very clear.
We have why Allah said that. For example, in private you can say that.
Okay. So now if you do land of people that are loved by other Muslims, so what do they do?
In private you can.
So you don't listen. I say not do it in the way that they will be offended. Okay? If they are not offended because you don't say it, or they don't know that you are saying, it's different. But you cannot say in member, don't do it in front of them. What does it mean? Again they are offended. So it's better to say in this way. Don't offend people. Don't insult people. Be respectful. Okay?
You said that, for example, getting Hajjah and receiving, for example, some Hajjah, you can't land some, for example, you insult people. Someone,
that,
for example, Omar,
getting
Hajjah.
No, that's
private.
No.
It's not good.
Nowadays there is no privacy. Nowadays there is no privacy, and nowadays we shouldn't do these things. We as ulama, we should not encourage people to do this. They may do it themselves, but as ulama, as member, as TV, as websites, we have to be very careful. And this is not what you hear from great ulama. Have you ever heard from great ulama to do this on member or? So we have to be very respectful.
The special words that Imam was saying.
Pardon?
على أن الدعي يبنى الدعي فترة كذا. الدعي in Arabic is not.
That is for someone like Ibn Ziyad. They are not very sensitive about him.
Obviously used. He was.
But or for example.
He's from Nas, actually.
Yeah, but no. Some people are very revered. Some people are very revered. For example, if you say something about Hajjaj ibn Yusuf, no one is very sensitive about Hajjaj ibn Yusuf. But if you say something about the caliphs, about some of the companions of the Prophet, so then it creates problem. And you have to be careful, you have to be respectful. You have to say beautiful teachings of Ahlul Bayt, emphasize on the beautiful akhlaq of Ahlul Bayt and their great companions. Why we focus on the negative side? Shall I talk more about Allah or about shaitan? Shall I talk more about good or about bad? Now, which one is more? Both more, it cannot be. If you look at the Quran, the emphasis is on God, not on Iblis. But unfortunately, many of our people, the emphasis is on Iblis than God. Even in our politics, sometimes the more we emphasize on our enemies than we emphasize on our own problems. So instead of solving our domestic issues, 90% we talk about enemies. So we have to find good balance. It's like we have to have good food. Also, we need to take medicine when we become ill. But you cannot always be talking about disease and medicine. What about food? Food is different from medicine. Torah for yes, but only for knowing. Only for knowing, not only. No. For sure, we have to have Velaya and Bara'at together. But which one is more important? I see that for some people, Bara'ah is more important than Velaya, which is wrong. Velaya is the most important thing, not Bara'ah. Both must be there, but which one is more important?
So how can we...
Did you get the point? This is a very important point. It looks very simple, but even some big ulama have not understood this. Love is more important than hatred, although both of them are needed. Love for the sake of Allah and hatred for the sake of Allah. Al-hubbu fillah wal-bughzu fillah. But hal ad-deenu illa al-hubb. Hope is the main thing.
What about how to justify some issues like Bara'at in hand? Is in front of the others and all the world they are hearing it and they are recording it, and we are assuming that one of the most essential part of the...
Yeah. Let me finish the verse, then perhaps we can address your question. Just I finished this verse 83. وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةِ. Establish prayer. This is beautiful. We don't say اقرأوا الصلاة or أدوا الصلاة or إيتوا بالصلاة or افعلوا الصلاة. We don't say these things. أقيموا الصلاة. إقامة الصلاة. What does it mean, إقامة الصلاة? Or we say قد قامت الصلاة. Because salat, in my understanding, is like a construction. Salat is like a palace. This palace, if it is a real palace, if you do it nicely, is rising. Otherwise, it's collapsing. There are people whose salat is collapsed, cannot go anywhere, therefore cannot take them anywhere. العمل الصالح يرفعه إليه يصعد الكلم الطيب والعمل الصالح يرفعه. If my salat is collapsed, how can my salat take me towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? As-salat mi'rajul mu'min. If you have mi'raj, if you have ladder, this ladder must be standing or must be collapsing. So salat is a construction that has to be built, and then it can stand by itself. If salat is built, then through salat you can go higher and higher. And I think as long as we are doing salat This is very important. We can discuss it if you don't agree with me. I think if we are doing salat properly, our situation, maybe we don't feel this, but our soul is in a very different condition than 5 minutes before. If you do salat with conditions, your soul is in a very higher position. Of course, not everyone is the same level, but compared to the same person before or after salat, salat is a very special. So during your day, the best time, the closest time that you have to Allah is during your salat, generally speaking. Especially when you go to sajda, which hadith says is أقرب ما يكون عبد من ربه. The closest time is when you go to sajda. So the soul of mu'min at the time of salat is in the best condition. And if salat is not accepted, it means that this person is useless. Because salat is the best thing that you have and the best condition that you have during your day. In qubilat, then it helps other things to be accepted. Wa in ruddat, rudda ma siwa. So I have the understanding that salat is very special. It's a construction, is a lift, is an elevator towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is why we say aqimus salah, not just sallu or addu as salat. Aqimus salah. It's very important. Yes.
Sometimes we see some people who are careless about their prayer. Yeah, for example, they think that at the end of the time, before they have all your performing their prayers, so some people they ask us, do you see any benefit for this kind of prayer for them or not? According to some narrations,
Sorry, could you repeat?
some people they ask us, we have, for example, a child or, for example, some friends who they are performing their prayers but very carelessly. So does this kind of prayer have any affection, benefit for them or not? We have some narrations which say somehow we can understand from them, yes. Even this kind of prayer, it has this kind of effect on the prayer. What's your opinion here?
If they do it carelessly, it's better than doing nothing. But we should not be pleased with this. We should try to make it better. But if they hate salat, it's different. If they hate salat, maybe even the salat is not valid. For example, if he doesn't have the niyyah of qurba ila Allah, just he's worried and because of fear is doing salat, maybe this salat even from fiqh point of view is not valid. But if he doesn't like, he's lazy or just careless, it's better than nothing. But you have to help him to appreciate salat. Talk about the benefit of salat, the beauty of salat, some stories about salat.
But does this kind of salat have any affection on his life or not?
Yeah, it's better than nothing. Like someone who takes food but doesn't like the food. Still he doesn't die.
For example,
But it's better you love the food that you eat.
even for example, what we have in our salat, al-Qur'an al-Fahsha wal-Munkar. Maybe, in my opinion, one can interpret it that even the one who prays his salat carelessly is somehow preventing himself from avoiding some kind of sins.
Yeah.
Sins.
To some extent. But that salat that I was talking, that tanha an al-fahsha wal munkar. Because that is a real salat. That construction, that palace, doesn't let you to do anything bad. Wa'atu zakah, You cannot say I only do salat. You have to also give charity, as we explained sometime. In Islam, these two come together. ثُمَّ تَوَلَّيْتُمْ. Then Allah changes the way He talks. He addresses them. You turned away except only few of you. إِلَّا قَلِيلًا مِنْكُمْ وَأَنْتُمْ مُعْرِضُونَ. What is the difference between تَوَلَّيْتُمْ وَأَنْتُمْ مُعْرِضُونَ? Perhaps this can be a matter of emphasis, or it can mean that you knew that you want to turn away. It's not just by chance, by mistake. تَوَلَّيْتُمْ, deliberately. تَوَلَّيْتُمْ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا مِنْكُمْ وَأَنْتُمْ مُعْرِضُونَ. Especially if we take it as a continuous action. Because Jumla Ismiya, as you know, shows continuity. Tawallaytum is verbal. Antum mu'ridun means this continues. Okay? So it's not just a mistake that happened once or twice. You turned away and you do it continuously. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin.